Welcome to this week's GCN Tech Clinic, where we aim to answer your bike tech and maintenance related questions. This week we've got Si and myself doing our best to answer questions in the allotted time. Si, first question over to you.
All right then, first question comes in from James Boz. Hello, for purely aesthetic reasons, I'm wondering how big a job and how practical it would be to convert my 2020 Pinarello Prince FX disc to internal cabling. I have a Pro Vibe handlebar, so it seems fairly straightforward to my non-mechanical mind.
Well,
Alex?
Right, first thing, even if you've got a handlebar that can run internal cable routing, you can't just go drilling holes in things like steerer tubes and frames without kind of sacrificing the strength. I know at a manufacturing point, that's essentially what they're kind of doing, but that's in a calculated way on a part that's already strong enough to have that section removed.
Well, that's right. When you design it in the first place, they reinforce around it. So yeah, unfortunately, you cannot do it.
I strongly would advise against that. I do want to point out, I do know someone that has actually done this on their bike and they haven't had a problem, but I would categorically not advise it.
Oh, 100%, no. I think they're bonkers.
Yeah. And also, I think internal cable routing, in my opinion, is actually slightly overrated. Yes, it looks cool, but it also makes your bike harder to work on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pros and cons to it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go, James. Stay safe, buddy. Don't do it.
Alistair Sproul next, with a question saying, the thread on the screw point between the left crank and the chainring has worn out, meaning that it falls out every 30 to 40 kilometres. The cranks are really nice, so they don't want to replace them. Is there any way to stop it unscrewing? Could I glue it back in if I knew I could break the glue seal when I need to remove the cranks? Slightly confusing question, I'm going to say here, because I'm not entirely sure what exact part they're referencing.
Also, there's lots of different types of cranks and bottom brackets, aren't there? So which type you're using influences the answer.
By my gut feeling here is, by the way the question is positioned, it feels like a older crank and bottom bracket style, like the square taper bottom bracket, is what I'm assuming, so correct me if I'm wrong. And essentially, if the crank bolt has rounded, that means it's in the part that is contained in the bottom bracket, which means you can just replace the bottom bracket and you'll have a new thread to go in. But if it's in a part that is contained in the crank, there is always the option of taking it to a machine shop, or a really good quality bike shop will be able to drill it out and put a threaded insert in there for you. You can always save parts.
Yeah. I think take it to a really good bike shop and just get them to check it out.
That would be the safest option for sure.
Yeah. Okay, Andy Haas, 6719. I had a bad crash on the road on this downhill where my front tyre flatted instantly and I had zero control. Andy, I'm really sorry to hear that. He said he's now petrified of riding downhill.
Oh, no.
Which sucks. Should I run heavier tyres and sacrifice weight? I had lightweight tubes when it happened.
What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I totally sympathise with how you must be feeling now. I mean, it's one of those things where every now and then a thought pops into my mind when I'm going down a hill, there's not much margin for error, is there, on a road bike? So yeah, you could run heavier tyres and get that kind of extra security, if you like. They're less likely to puncture. For me, I would probably just try and chalk it up to one of those horrible freak accidents and then instead work on rebuilding your confidence, basically. I think you've just had really shocking luck.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you. And like you say, that moment every now and again where you think, oh, there's not much sort of margin for error if it goes wrong here. I find the more I crash and the older I get, the more I think about that thought. Yeah. So then I sort of feel like I dial it back ever so slightly. So yeah, I think like you say, it's just really unfortunate. And there is no guaranteed tyre or inner tube setup out that's never going to puncture. I think just been really unlucky.
Yeah, catastrophic blowouts are, touch wood, rare, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, just try and rebuild your descending confidence.
Yeah. Okay, next question is from Bran McFinchard 9056. They say, can we do a short feature on the best and safest way to remove and install your pedals? I've got power meter pedals, so I find myself swapping them regularly and always seem to end up with an injury from it. It's getting annoying. I can barely contain my laughter because, Si, please tell everybody about your most recent injury.
I gave myself quite a serious black eye from taking off a pedal. And basically, my bikes were hanging up and they were locked together. And I thought, I can't be bothered to run upstairs, get the key for the lock, undo the lock, take the bike down and take the pedal off. So I was like, it'll be fine. I'll do it in situ. It turns out it wasn't fine because obviously, as you well know, when pedals loosen, like you have to put a bit of force on, don't you? And then they tend to go, and as it went like that, I absolutely walloped my eye on, I think it was the front derailleur, possibly. So
should have had one by.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Well, no, then it would be a chain ring, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So no, yeah, it's. I mean, what are the tips? Basically, we definitely could do a video.
I'm gonna make a video like 100% in the coming weeks. I've got two kind of tips. One, don't ever over tighten your pedals in the first instance, because I think everyone does that. Two is to use the correct tool, and that be that like a pedal spanner or a really suitable Allen key or hex wrench, one that sits into the pedal nicely and has got enough leverage. Another little trick that I tend to do is to position the cranks correctly and try to use my foot as much as I can.
Yeah, that's the
Feet
one.
are safe.
Use your foot to have the bike on the floor,
Yeah.
safely on two wheels, and then use your foot. So yeah, you're right. If you put the cranks in the right position, then you can easily just tap. You just need to use your toes, don't you? Just
But I will make a video, so subscribe to GCN Tech, and you won't miss out on that in the coming weeks.
There you go. Okay, cool. Next one, it's knack. If I'm going from an oil-based lubed chain to a wax chain, do I need to fully disassemble my drivetrain and give it an over-the-top clean to get rid of every molecule of grease, or will a simple degrease be enough? Alex?
Yes, to the first bit. Get rid of every single possible bit of grease. Go to town, clean it once, twice, 3 times. You've got to get rid of everything.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately. That's why a lot of cases, if you want to go from oil-based lube to a wax-based lubricant, it's best to just start with a new chain and degrease it from there. So there you go.
There you go.
That's one of the downsides of going to waxing, is like big old clean-up job at the start.
Yeah, but then I guess, you don't ever have to do that again.
No, that's like a one-time job. So
you could like savour it
right.
and be like, this is the last time I'm ever going to have to do this.
You could savour it. That's right. You personally could savour it.
I could. Yeah, never mind.
Right, next question from Mr. Runda Vink, I don't know. Hello, GCN Tech. I own a giant TCR model from 2021. Hex bolts on the bike are made out of gum, and even using my torque wrench, I can easily turn them numb. Oh, it rhymes. I can't be bothered to unscrew every single bolt, find the size, search all over the internet to find it in black, or wait for it to arrive and then not use the bike, install it. Are there specific kits and bundles and websites out there to find all of the bolts for your bike that you can exchange for hex or torx bolts? Do you know what? There actually are some websites out there that can allow you to do this.
Really?
Yes, but it's going to come at a cost, because if you want to move away from like soft aluminium bolts, you're going to have to go to titanium. And then there's like companies that sell upgrade kits for specific bikes where it basically replaces all of the common bolts. But it's going to cost you a chunk of money.
There you go.
So, yeah, if you want to save your money, you got to spend your time measuring all the bolts and getting the right ones individually. If you want to spend your money, get some fancy titanium bolt kit.
Yeah. That's a weird... I've never had that before.
Maybe check that you're using good quality Allen keys as well then.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not helping.
Yeah, that sounds like a bummer though.
Yeah.
That's not cool. Right then, last question from the Lance Productions. What do people use to measure their speed? Do people still use Bluetooth Amp Plus devices that you strap onto your free hub, or is that old tech now and people rely more on GPS data on their head units? I haven't seen anyone using one of those hub-based speed sensors for a while.
No, it feels really old school now, doesn't it?
I don't know, actually. It's a really good point. Maybe GPS data, tracking has moved on to the point where you don't need it anymore.
I think that's right. I still think if you want the most accurate thing, a physical speed sensor set up correctly is the way to go. The only other instance I can think of people still using like a physical speed sensor are like track riders and people doing testing indoors.
Yeah.
GPS data is obviously rubbish. But yeah, I think for 99.9% of people, the GPS speed data is more than enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can kind of see if it's glitchy because you're going underneath like heavy tree cover or something, can't you?
Yeah. Plus, is it really that important? I don't know, maybe to some people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one, that, isn't it?
So no to a speed sensor for you then, just GPS data.
Yeah, I'm not super hung up about it, basically.
All right, same. Right, that was the last question, but I do want to quickly mention a little bonus nugget here. So a few weeks back, somebody asked a question about clogged up valve cores from tubeless sealant. I said, simply replace the valve core, but there's a better solution. thanks to the GCN Tech community, lots of people highlighted that when you set your tubeless tyres up, one little drop of oil-based chain lube down the valve stem stops the tubeless sealant clogging the valve core up. Who knew?
Well, I'd seen it before and never done it because I was like, surely that doesn't work. How can that last for like 4 months?
Apparently it's the thing.
There you go. I'm going to give that a try.
Yeah, do give it a try. Right, as always, sorry if we didn't answer your question, but be persistent, put it in the comments section down below, and we'll get to it in the coming weeks. Right, that's it from us. We're out of here. Bye.